guys. I hope you are doing well and are ready for one of our last weeks of art. Again, I know this way of doing art is so not ideal. Art is so important to be kind of like face to face and person to person with people just because it's a very hands on way of learning. But I can't stress enough how awesome you guys are doing. I've been posting a lot of photos on my class Instagram page, and I was very specifically blown away with some of the work I got for this past week's assignment of the famous artwork remakes. Really, really awesome job. Some of you really pushed your creativity, which was awesome to see. So since this is going to be one of our kind of final projects here, please give it all you got, push through, just do some really awesome stuff for me, because I'm just excited to see it. I wanted to put together what I find to be a pretty enjoyable assignment, pretty fun. There's a lot of different routes that you can go with it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. So this week's assignment, you guys are going to be doing some food art. As always, there's a lot of different approaches that you can take to this assignment, but pretty much using food as your art medium. So instead of using paint or crayons or markers or other sculptural materials, you're going to be using the food as those materials. Kind of similar to the nature drawings that you did, but I kind of think that there's a little bit more room to play with the food aspect here, and you'll see as I kind of walk through and explain this week's project to you. So I found this really awesome artist. His name is Jason Messier. He's 52 years old. He's working in San Francisco, California, and he creates these really awesome portraits. He's mainly known for his celebrity portraits using a variety of collected rubbish, is what he calls it. So things that might be found in like a junk drawer in your house, or maybe, shoved between the seats of a car, or just kind of going out for trash. So he collects these materials and he uses them as his art medium. So he uses them instead of other things you see artists using like paint and other sculptural materials like maybe wood or metal. He goes ahead and he uses these pieces of what some people think is garbage. So we've got pieces of jewelry or emptied deodorant cans, gum wrappers, and I have some photos to show you where he does a really, really awesome job of arranging these materials to resemble the person that he's trying to do a portrait of. So I wanted to include these two photos. I think this one's really interesting to kind of see the way that he works. I'm a very visual learner, so I find it fun to hear, oh, this guy does food art. Okay, how does he do it? He puts out all these materials. I see he's got a hot glue gun. He's got some scissors. He's clearly working on his board back here. So for me, it's really awesome to see the process and the way that he does his work. I wanted to include this image here as well because he had done a portrait of the artist Andy Warhol. I'm sure you guys have heard of him in prior art classes, but I always think it's fun when artists do portraits of other artists. So very specifically, we are going to be focusing on how he uses food items to construct portraits. So in this one here of the famous Big Bird, he clearly is using some cereal pieces and oh my goodness, and arranging them to resemble Big Bird. And this one here, I don't know who this is a portrait of. I think it was just a commissioned work where someone had asked him to do a portrait of them because I don't recognize this famous person. But the background is done using like those frosted coated animal crackers. I'm obsessed with those things. These look like chocolate covered donuts and Oreos and Twix bars and all kinds of fun things. It's kind of look like Cheetos going on down here. I'm clearly not expecting you guys to do something as in-depth as this, but some of you really might take it and run with it and do something really awesome. So I like to show this to hopefully spark some stuff in your brains. This one here, we've got Justin Timberlake, and I think it's made with jelly beans. I tried to zoom in on the photo and they look like they're little jelly beans, or maybe he uses rice or beans and dyes them. I don't think so. So I'm thinking it's jelly beans. But again, you don't have to go this in depth with it. I just wanted to show you. And then I think this is fun here where he did a portrait of George Lopez, and then you have George Lopez actually holding the portrait. So I think that's really fun to show. So Jason Messier, really, really awesome artist. highly recommend looking more into his work if this interests you. So, for this week's project, you are going to choose a subject matter so you can decide what you're going to make. It's entirely up to you. Do you want to do a landscape? Do you want to do a portrait? Do you want to do an object? Do you want to do something super abstract? It's up to you. Line designs, I don't care. It's yours. Second thing you're going to do is decide what materials you wish to use. So, will you use coffee or tea as paint? Do you want to use cereal and construct something? Were you super inspired by something I showed you of Jason Messier's? How about cut up fruit arranged? So, how can you take something that maybe is found in your fridge, cut it up, arrange it in a certain way, and make that a piece of art? Or can you paint something with ketchup or mustard or barbecue sauce or hot sauce, something that's in your fridge? The biggest thing that I can stress here is please do not waste food. Please do not waste food. I don't want to be receiving emails from parents saying, so and so went through all of our fridge and they put this on the counter and they cut it up and they threw it away. I don't want to hear that. Please do not waste food. Please, please, please. You can totally complete this project without wasting food. You can just use pieces of food that you're planning on eating, arrange them before you eat them, and then you can eat them. If you're using ketchup or mustard, you can always add a little bit of water to it, and that'll water it down so you're not using as much. So try to think of ways that you can do this without wasting anything. I think this is a really awesome project if you want to get the whole family involved. Parents can help you cut things if you need assistance there, or siblings might be really interested in helping out. I really, really want to see what you guys can do with this project. I really want to see some really awesome stuff. And lastly, once your work is complete, as always, take a photo and upload it to Google Classroom. I'm asking that you please place a small piece of paper with your name on it, kind of in the bottom corner of your photo, just to be on like a little scrap torn piece of paper, just so that I know it's your work and you're not taking something from online. I'd like to see your work, not something that is plagiarized and just copied. If you have any questions with the logistics of this, please email me, but I'm giving you a lot of freedom here and a lot of options. As always, here's some awesome examples to hopefully get your brains going in a great direction. So I try to show things that are maybe a little bit more simple, and then maybe some things that are a little bit more ambitious, but hopefully will give you some ideas. So cutting up fruit, cutting up vegetables, arranging them in a certain way. I think this piece is fun because it has the head of this girl is drawn, and she has used like a cut up strawberry to show the dress. So it's a good way to do some mixed media if that interests you. Great. This turkey down here is a super fun way to arrange fruit where clearly it can still be getting eaten afterwards. This one is kind of some sliced up cucumbers and what looks like maybe sprigs of herbs, or maybe even grass. I don't know. This cat looks like it's done with like beans and nuts. I know that's definitely a cashew. That's definitely a gummy worm. And I thought this one was fun too. So if you're a big salad eater, maybe you can arrange your lettuce in a certain way. Again, before you eat it, just take a quick photo. I know it seems so weird. But I'm trying to really give you guys some fun stuff to do because you all don't have the same art materials. So I can't just say, oh, do a painting of this because not everyone has paint. So this is a great way for maybe you to experiment with paint because in my next slide, you can paint with ketchup or mustard or barbecue sauce. Like I said, you can paint with coffee and tea. There's some vegetables that will make a nice colored dye as well. I want to say beets, if you have beets. I don't know if you do, but they make a nice kind of purpley color dye. You can experiment with that if you want. That's fun and exciting. I think this one is so fun because it is so simple with this Pac-Man going to eat I think they're called ghosts. It's so simple, but it's so creative and so fun. So you don't feel like you have to do this really complex artwork to really wow me. I just like to see some creativity happening. This one's really cool too, cutting up some toast. Again, maybe you want toast for breakfast. You can still eat this after you construct it. So again, please do not waste food. I love food. It hurts my heart if you're wasting it. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. I really hope you guys enjoy this project and come up with some really awesome stuff for me. Again, if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to comment on Google Classroom or just shoot me a quick email. I usually reply relatively quickly after you've commented. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll be seeing you next week with what is going to be your last assignment. Bye, guys.